Hello everybody, it's the second time I get to see a mug this time. You'll have to put up with the light conditions because I haven't got much better. I brought some notes, so hopefully I won't stutter so much this time. Okay, so following on from the last video, I mentioned all this controversy about the dialects, different ways to pronounce things, different ways to pronounce the Messiah's name, and everybody just genuinely bickering and being nasty to each other. By all means, debate, try and find the truth, present it, but just don't attack each other. So this is my take now on what I believe the name is. Now obviously you can see all these things, you can probably work out part of what I'm going to tell you. If you've looked into these things a lot, you probably know everything I'm about to say from a particular viewpoint. Okay, so the Septuagint, or the LXX as it's sometimes known, the Greek translation of the Tanakh, the Old Testament, right, that had Joshua's name spelt the same as the New Testament does for a particular passage in the book of Hebrews where it talks about Jesus, but it's really talking about Joshua. Most translations now say Joshua, but in King James has said Jesus, and it's spelt the same. This is a reason why a lot of us believe it's the big spelling, not the small one. Okay, that's just a point I wish to bring up. Also, the Septuagint has lots of points in it, lots of parts of the teaching that are different to the Massoretic text, which is what we mostly use nowadays. And a lot of people think that's because the Masoretes were always tweaking things, trying to get rid of messianic bits, and that's worth looking into as well. Because it seems like the Greek New Testament quoted the Septuagint. That's just another point I think is important. Okay, so if you look at this name, Joshua, in the concordance, in Strong's concordance, right, you're going to get these two top ones come up. And it's vowel pointed like this, which is usually pronounced Yahushua or Yehoshua. Right? This little, I don't know the names of the pronunciation dots, but I can read them. It's like Yahushua, but anyway, it's pronounced the same as the full version. Right? Now many of us also believe that really, instead of Yeho, you're supposed to pronounce it Yahu. If you look at all the prophets, Isaiah, in Hebrew it's more like Yeshayahu, but you get lots of Yahu at the end of loads of different names. Plus, there's been cuneiform tablets found that were vowel pointed, and when they spoke the names of particular biblical people, they were vowel pointed to say Yahu. Even at the start of the name, where you'd have, let's say, a Yo or Yeho, it would be Yahu. So there's plenty of evidence that it should be Yahu, less than Yeho. Okay, that's another thing I wish to say. Now, this top version, Yahushua, as I pronounce it, is found 2 times in the Tanakh. This version is still pronounced vowel pointed to say Yahushua or Yehoshua. It's found 216 times. So I know a lot of you go, okay, well, that's a majority. That must be it. We hate vowel pointing, so we get rid of the vowel pointing, so therefore we're now going to go Yahusha. Alright, fine, no problem, whatever. Might be true, but I don't think it is, as this video will show you. Now, I'll come on to the bottom one in a minute. Again, it's pretty obvious, but I'll come on to it later on. There's a person who I was talking to recently, and he led me towards 2 different websites. That for you might know about this, but I didn't know about it. And I think one's called the Dead Sea Scrolls Digital Archive, I think. And on that, you can actually look at the genuine fragments of the scrolls themselves, the actual scrolls taken photographically. Now, and there's another site where somebody's looked at all this and they found those different things and transliterated it into modern Hebrew and compared it to the Massoretic text. Now, there's some interesting differences. And the Dead Sea Scrolls are allegedly about 1,000 years older than the Massoretic text, which, in my view at least, puts it up there, in terms of importance. And it agrees with the Septuagint quite often as well, which is interesting, because the Septuagint is a bit more messianic in places. And it seems like, so the Masoretes took bits out, we know this. But I did some studying on this other site, I'll put the links down there. And with the modern vowel points at least, I can read a teeny bit of Hebrew, with the modern vowel points at least, if you look at Joshua 6:7 in the Massoretic text, it kind of reads Vayomer El Ha'am, which is a bit like
and he spoke to the people. If you look in the Dead Sea Scrolls, it's Vayomer Yahushua, top spelling, El-Ha-Am. So, and he spoke, Yahushua is the one who spoke to the people. Or we will translate it, and Yahushua spoke to the people, or Joshua. Okay, so that's one interesting difference right there. That's showing you that the Dead Sea Scrolls is spelling it Yahushua with the second vav, or wow. Okay, if you go to Joshua 6:8, you'll notice that you'll have in the Massoretic text, again it's spelled like this, but in the Dead Sea Scrolls it's spelled like this. Okay, again these numbers are for the Tanakh, not the Dead Sea. Okay, so that's one point, and you can see it on the screen. I'll put them on the screen a bit. Joshua 6:10, Massoretic text, you have this one, and again in the Dead Sea Scrolls you have the top one, the full version. Joshua 7:16, same issue, exactly the same issue. I'll wait a second so you can look at it. By all means, pause the video, that'd probably be the best bet. Okay, Joshua 8:3, exactly the same issue. Joshua 8:10, same issue. Now you'll notice I'm going in order. I'm going to ignore one and come back to it. Joshua 10:9, same issue. Dead Sea Scrolls, full spelling. Now I've not seen them with my own eyes, which I'd like to, because I've been looking at the Dead Sea Scrolls themselves and I've not managed to find them all. But this website has found them, if it's trustworthy, which I think it is. I've got no reason to lie. I don't think they have any reason to lie. I trust it. It's up to you what you trust. I'm still looking in the text to find it myself. So far I've found the full version in the Dead Sea Scrolls with my own eyes once. And it seems to be the place where everybody else has found it as well. But interestingly, if you look above it, it says Yahusha ben Nun. So you do get the short version. It looks like it says Ben Nun after it, son of Nun. But then directly below it says Yahushua. It's exactly the same issue that the Tanakh has. Two spellings, same person. Even in the same passage sometimes, it's strange. Some people believe vowels are removed and put back in later to make a spiritual point. Reason being, take someone's vav out of the name, they've lost their vav, their nail, their hook, their tempeh, their connectivity, their stability. So there's something going on wrong in their life, and later on in the text you find out it's been reinstated. This could be a genuine spiritual point that's actually happening. It could be, or it could just be scribal awkwardness. So anyway, you have that issue. It's on the. You can see it on the screen. I'll put it there. There you go. If you look there, you see it. I've tried to put it to make it clearer. I'm going to put it. Yeah. But going back a bit anyway. If you go to Joshua 8:35. Right. One sec. I've recently got a copy of the Hallelujah scriptures, so I'm still looking into it. So far I'm quite happy. But if you go to Joshua 35, it reads, "There was not a word of all that Moshe had commanded, which Yahushua did not read before all the assembly of Israel, with the woman and the little ones and the sojourners who accompanied them." And when you look on the text, and I'll put it on the screen, whoop, there you go. You see that basically, in the Dead Sea Scrolls, Yahushua is there twice, but in the Massoretic text it's there once. And it's kind of saying, there was not a word of all that Moshe had commanded, which Yahushua did not read. So basically, Moses commanded something, Moshe, and Joshua or Yahushua read it. We know really, that the one who actually commanded things was Elohim. He used Moses, or Moshe, as like his vessel to command. So with the Dead Sea Scrolls, they took out an entire verse, or no, not entire verse, but they took out two words, which is between Moshe and Asher, which is like who, which, that. You have Et Yahushua, which is interesting. It's spelt with the top spelling, but those of you probably know, you might not know, Et, it's got several meanings. One of them's just a grammatical meaning. It's kind of saying like, this is what we're talking about. But another meaning, dog, how you doing, dog?
Another meaning, it's kind of like a divine marker. And in the New Testament, when the Messiah said, I'm the Alpha and the Omega, in Hebrew that's Aleph and the Tav, and that's Et, or At. So this is possibly saying, yeah, okay, Moses commanded things, but really it was Aleph, Tav, Yahusha who commanded them, which is very messianic. Me personally, I think the Masoretes looked at this and went, oh dear, it sounds a bit too Christian on its own. What do we do? Mordecai, come here, lad. What do we do? I don't know. Just rub it out, sod it. That's what I think they've done. I think they just took it out completely. You know, I think that's evidence in itself. They have a bit of an agenda on the go. There's no reason to remove that. So hopefully I've showed you several examples now where the Dead Sea Scrolls has Yahushua, the Massoretic text has Yahusha, but with vowel pointings to say Yahushua. So those of you who keep going, oh, we can't trust these vowel points. Okay, fine, don't use the vowel points to actually pronounce things. So don't go Yahushua, by all means go Yahushua or Yahushua or whatever you want to do. But they're still useful for showing you where things have been tweaked, because I've colour coded this red to red because that vowel represents that little 3 dots there. And again, in the Tanakh, Old Testament, it's only twice you see the full spanning, but in the Dead Sea Scrolls it's a lot more than twice. Now, that's that bit out of the way. Yeshua, or Yeshua, depending on how you want to pronounce it. I found it using a program called eSword, which is free, download it, 30 different times in the Tanakh, so I put 30 there. Once, it's referring to, it says Yeshua ben Nun. This bloke here, Yahushua, you know, but it's called Yeshua. So it's showing you that there's a relationship, a bit like Jonathan versus John. If you look in Nehemiah, or Nehemiah 8:17, that's where you see that reference in Ben Nun, son of Nun. In the King James it says Jeshua, but if you look and if you click on it with the concordance, go to H3442, it'll show you that it's referring to Joshua, Yahushua ben Nun. And there's a little link where it shows you, so it says go here, so if you click H3091, it takes you to here. So it's showing it's kind of the same person. All these points together makes me believe that the full name, proper name, is Yahushua, not Yahusha. Well, I can't fully deny this because these points I've just made. And also, if you look in New Testament texts of Greek and Aramaic, it says Yeshua. I'll show you something. Now this is the AENT, the Aramaic English New Testament, which I hold in high regard. I bought it because it's mostly a copy of the Peshitta texts, the family of texts written in Aramaic. Now this is Aramaic as well, but this is like calligraphy, Aramaic, Estrangelo I think they call it. A lot of people believe it's the original New Testament. I don't, but I do believe it's one of the oldest. I believe this corrects the Greek in certain areas. I bought this partly for that, partly because it's Hebraic, partly because this has loads of footnotes. I know a lot of you don't like footnotes. I personally do. You don't have to believe them. But the back of it, find it. Now you've got contents page. All this is basically a book. Yeah, okay, it's a man's opinion, it's a book, but I found it very useful. So go and get this. Then this is a second edition, written in Estrangelo. If you get the latest edition, it's a 5th edition, and it's written like this. So anyway, go to Luke 1:31. It was, for behold, you will receive conception and bear a son, and you will call his name Yeshua. Okay, so if you then look over to the Aramaic, there, Yod Shin Wa Ayin. Try and get focus. If I can. See it? 4 little letters. Baby one, something that looks a bit like a little Y, a bit like a circle, then like a sideways V. There. So the Aramaic texts do say Yeshua, or Yahshua. Again, some Hebrew texts do as well. And because we know Yeshua is a short version of Yahushua, a bit like John, Jonathan. Right. Personally, I can accept them all, but I think this one, and secondary, this one. Don't have to argue and get nasty over it, you know, but I wanted to put my points across. I stick with Yahushua most of the time. And I hope that's cleared things up. I don't want to make videos and then be another messenger of confusion. I'm hoping I can clarify things and get rid of some of these dodgy logics. Because some people's logic I think is a bit twisted, or there's big holes in the theory. If you get a hole in the theory, it's a colander. You know, it's just piddling water everywhere. It ain't working. So, see what you think. And again, please give me some comments. Right? Cheers!